It's a KRON 4 News weekend feature, Bay Area Web, the next generation, where we profile people from the Bay Area creating the future of the internet. And there is a man named Craig who has created a list for people looking for everything from apartments to rent to lifelong partners to exercise equipment.
And jobs and a whole lot more. And first of a two-part series, KRON 4's Brian Shields introduces us to Craig Newmark and his very unique story on how he revolutionized the want ads.
I find Craig Newmark in his home overlooking the hate, doing what he loves best, customer service, helping the people who use Craigslist. The man who turned a self-titled email list into an international phenomenon says he will always remain focused on the user.
The next challenge on Craigslist is for me to keep doing customer service, to keep suggesting improvements, and to get out of the way otherwise. My tech team is in some fear that I might try to help, and they're told to distract me with shiny gadgets.
Well, more than a decade ago, Craig was the tech team. He wrote the code that turned an email list that he was sending to friends into a website.
The first postings were events, usually arts and technology. Then people were suggesting, hey, how about these jobs we have to offer? A little later on, people wanted to buy and sell stuff. Or even after, I said, hey, we have an apartment shortage growing. This is 95. Let's do that.
In a way, Craig was helping to invent what we now call social media, places like Facebook and MySpace, and he gives a lot of credit to an early Bay Area-based online community, The Well.
From '92, I was on The Well, which is a virtual community originally based in Sausalito, and The Well has been very influential for me and across the web. Influential in terms of technology, but also just the sense of community and the spirit of people giving each other a break.
As Craigslist grew across the country and eventually around the world, Craig discovered not everyone shared that sense of community.
Again, the surprising part of the experience has been how sane and moderate people are, and more importantly, how trustworthy they are. We do get fanatics, crazy people, and crooks sometimes, and that's true of everywhere on the net and in normal everyday life. Since we trust our community, we've given people the ability to flag postings which are somehow wrong. People respond to that by helping us out, flagging stuff. There's still some ugly stuff out there, but between our community and our software, we're getting better and better at getting rid of it.
He may not look like it, but this quiet, wry man who likes to do customer service is public enemy #1 for some in the newspaper industry. They blame Craigslist for a loss of classified revenue that helps to support investigative journalism. Craig says the real problem is the demand for high corporate profits.
We do affect classifieds-related revenue, although the analysts and the publishers themselves tell me that we're a minor part of the problem. The real problem has to do with specialized sites that go after the biggest moneymakers for newspaper classifieds, specifically car ads and job ads.
Craig makes his money from employment in 7 cities, including the Bay Area, and real estate ads in New York.
In 2000 or so, I asked a lot of people, hey, what's the right way to pay the bills, and maybe even do a little better than that. People said, hey, charge people who are otherwise paying more money for less effective ads. And you know, that means our site is running almost completely free, and that ain't bad.
Next, I talked with Craig Newmark about his new efforts to promote moderates and how Craigslist could help bring peace to the Middle East. For more on Craig Newmark and our other profiles, go to KRON4.com and click on Bay Area Web, the next generation. In San Francisco, Brian Shields, KRON 4 News.
And you can see part 2 of that interview with Craig Newmark. That will be on KRON 4 News Weekend next Saturday morning.
Well, that's interesting from, you know, now you can look for volunteers to peace in the Middle East.
Yeah,
I wonder,
yeah.
I guess that's kind of an outreach to community, how you can get people across the globe talking to each other.
To communicate with each other.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
You know, he was on our show, and it's been a couple of years now. I always thought he was very unassuming. You could see how low-key he is there. You would never think that someone who is that unassuming and quiet would create something that has such power. I don't know how many people say, try Craigslist.
Right,
you know?
go to Craigslist. Well, you know, it's interesting, too, if you look at the classified ads of the average daily newspaper, you know, for those of you opening your paper right now, just take a look at the classified ads. Very small. It has really shrunk.
Yeah.
And Craigslist is one of the reasons why.
Well, that's one of the reasons why the media industry is saying it has to find new forms to survive because it's losing so much ads.
Yeah.
So, well.
Maybe they should talk to Craig.
Well, he's heard it.
Exactly. Well, about ways to increase, you know, ads on the web.
No, well, I think that's what they are trying to do, which is why just about every media property now has its own website, right?
Of course.
We're all trying to survive here.
Yeah.